LSILFISTJ. Logical Sensing Intro Tim. Inspector, Pragmatist. Archetype Maxim Gorky. Jung. Introverted. Sensing. Logical. Rational. Renan. Static. Obstinate. Aristocratic. Tactical. Emotivist. Carefree. Merry. Decisive. Positivist. Process. Declaring. Velenko. Communication style, cold-blooded. Romance style, aggressive. Forms of thinking, causal determinist cognition. Groups. Beta Quadra. ST Pragmatists. IJ Temperament. Introverted. He focuses on his reaction to the outside world. His perception of the world is a component of himself. He is interested in the interactions between the self and the outside world. Instead of manipulating real objects, uses imagination and reflection. Logical. He sees the world through the lens of rules and logical connections, makes decisions based on logic often, prefers logical evaluations, right or wrong, and prefers argumentation over persuasion. Sensing. He is emphasizing concrete, tangible details that can be directly experienced, making him more realistic and down-to-earth. More aware of his surroundings and living in the present moment. Pay attention to details rather than the big picture. Rational. First, he assesses the information, then he produces a response to the situation using his experience. Merry. He is good at noticing emotional background, and perceive the emotional aspect separate from the activity. Decisive. Natural state is readiness. Normally he is mobilized. When the work is done, finds it hard to relax without a ritual. Aristocratic. He is inclined to perceive and refer to other people, and themselves, by means of groupings and categories. Process. He does things sequentially, from the beginning to the end. Immersed to a process and inclined to single tasking. Obstinate. Ideas are personal, but resources are freely shared and manipulated. It's hard to change his mind. Carefree. You cannot prepare for everything. They solve problems by primarily using that information which is at hand. Static. He perceives events in a discrete states rather than continuous changes. Tactical. He finds it easier to change the goal than the method. Positivist. First, he notices the positives. He tends to optimize, polish, and improve already existing things, systems, or processes. Socially and intellectually more trusting. Emotivist. He tends to concentrate foremost on the emotional background of interaction, with business a secondary concern. Declaring. He has tendency to monologue, listens attentively and silently to others' speeches to return to a long speech. Communication style, cold-blooded. They are not confident in their feelings and act restrained in their emotional displays. They understand communication as an exchange of lacking information of explanatory nature. Such communication doesn't lose much if it is carried out only in a written form. Forms of thinking, causal determinist cognition. It is analytic, positive, and deductive. The mental process consists in constructing chains of cause and effect, reducing explanations to deterministic mechanisms. Romance style, aggressive. He has no doubts about own interest in another person, not prone to hesitation reveal that interest. IJ temperament. Calm, balanced and inert, unflappable may appear passive-aggressive, usually very stable mood, more reactive than active. ST Pragmatists. Its interactions are likely to be based on sports activities, or discussion of, or cooperation in, Projects related to manual work and engineering. Beta Quadra. Decisive, merry, and aristocratic. Prefer situations where the power structure and hierarchy is clearly defined. Feel energized in the presence of people who share their beliefs and express them with obvious enthusiasm and emotion. LSI Model A. TI Program. Ego Mental Valuable Inert Verbal Acceptable Strong 4D. SE Creative. Ego Mental Valuable Contact Productive Verbal Strong 3D. FI Role. Super Ego Mental Non-Valuable Weak Contact Acceptable Nonverbal 2D. NE Trouble Zone. Super Ego Mental Non-Valuable Weak Inert Productive Nonverbal 1D. FE Suggestive. Super ID Vital Valuable Weak Contact Acceptable Verbal 1D. NI Activating. Super ID Vital Valuable Weak Inert Productive Verbal 2D. TE Ignoring. ID Vital Non-Valuable Strong Inert Acceptable Nonverbal 3D. SI Standard Area. ID Vital Non-Valuable Strong Contact Productive Nonverbal 4D. TI Program. He sees world through the prism of logic, perceiving the accuracy and appropriateness of things right away. He places the greatest emphasis on rules that have no exceptions. Although he can follow other people's rules, his own are always the last say, and they are constantly refined. SE Creative. In the face of external difficulties, he takes decisive action to achieve his goals and ambitions. This could include encouraging others to take necessary action or applying deliberate pressure in specific instances. He does not seek out conflict but is not afraid of it. FI Role. He is usually cautious at first, because he understands the presence and significance of human relationships. If they are directly solicited by others, he may become confused and distrustful. This causes stress if taken too far because it restricts his natural introverted logic predisposition. NE Trouble Zone. He is wary of ideas and opportunities that do not appear to lead any place definite. He is prone to making mistakes while determining whether someone can perform anything. He generally does not try to understand other points of view and instead focuses on establishing his own. FE Suggestive. An introvert is someone who finds it difficult to express himself in public and feels vulnerable when expressing himself freely. He frequently becomes immersed in serious work, neglecting his complementing need for amusement and emotional release. When he is around individuals he does not know well, he can suddenly become cheerful and warm. NI Activating. An anxious individual is prone to dealing with such matters quickly and, at times, impulsively. He requires external confirmation that a task can be completed on time and without haste, or that there is no immediate need to deal with any ongoing development. TE Ignoring. He is skilled at locating external sources of knowledge and is confident in his ability to assess their worth. He appreciates efficiency and productivity, but is skeptical that they will be realized if one's actions and process to a set of rules. To him, just cataloging facts without evaluating their relationships is a pointless and tedious process. SI Standard Area. He is confident in his capacity to perceive and assess his own and others' physical state and well-being, aesthetic sensations, and the internal consequences of sensory stimuli like as delicious meals and relaxing settings. He considers calming and relaxing activities, as well as debates about them, to be sources of amusement rather than priorities in life. LSI Intertype Relationships. Dual EIE. Identical LSI. Activator IEI. Mirror SLE. Semi-dual ESE. Kindred LII. Benefactor SEI. Supervisor ILE. Extinguishment LSE. Superego EII. Quasi-identical SLI. Conflictor IEE. Mirage LIE. Business ESI. Beneficiary ILI. Supervise ESEE.